Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So Tyrann Mathieu to the Saints. I want to X and O this with you in a minute, but just give me a thought overall on this move.
I think first the thought has to go away from what it means to the New Orleans Saints and kind of what it means for Tyrann Mathieu's journey. To me, other than Joe Burrow, the most important LSU Tiger that has ever lived, I know a lot of people would say Kevin Falk going there is the most important thing, but just for the players that they were at the school, the way he exited, right, the adversity that he dealt with, then to have the career that he's had, become the leader both on and off the field that he has, and now get an opportunity to play with the New Orleans Saints. I don't want to cut Tyrann's career short by any means, but I hope this is the last team he ever plays for. I hope he gets an opportunity to represent that city, to represent our state, to represent himself, and to finish his career in a place that gets to remember young Tyrann Mathieu at St. Augustine High School, and then now meet who he became, meet the last part of at least the football career evolution. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful story that I'm sure will be written one day. I'll still read it, but it's been a blessing to have an opportunity to watch it.
So you and I have talked so many times over the years. You didn't grow up. You grew up in New Orleans, but you didn't grow up a Saints fan. Obviously, never played for the Saints.
No.
But just specifically speaking, as a guy from New Orleans who does understand the New Orleans high school football culture and then what the Saints mean to the city, what can you elaborate just a little bit more on that version of Tyrann? Going home.
Yeah, I think he didn't necessarily say he was a huge Saints fan either. He said he always liked the way they played and the way they did business. I think for some of us who didn't get to grow up in the glory days of Drew Brees and Sean Payton, it was hard to be a Saints fan.
True.
I don't know a lot of people that were Saints fans the way they are now from back in the day. Like, I got some uncles that were like that, but not everybody, which was why it was always hard for me to be around obnoxious Saints fans because, no, but just being serious, because, like, I remember when y'all sucked and none of y'all liked the Saints. And so I think, that's the thing. I think that's the thing. And so I remember my last year in the league, I was a free agent, and, we had some talks with the Saints and they thought it might happen. And even though I wasn't a Saints fan, I remember how excited the thought got me. To play in that stadium, in that dome, to be a part of those colors, to be a part of the community, knowing how people now embrace the team, to play in front of my friends, there would have been high school kids I played with. There would have been families that knew me that would have gotten an opportunity to see me up close that never really did. And so I think that all plays into it. And now what you can also go back into your community and do. Like, it was cool to go do it in Pittsburgh. It was cool to do it in Washington, New Jersey, on your off days, get in the community, do camps. But to be able to do it at home is pretty special, man, and I'm very excited for it.
Ryan Clark is with us, of course, also co-host of The Pivot. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so on YouTube or however you get your podcast, but really go to YouTube and do it. We'll talk more about that in a second. I want to X and O this with you a little bit because you're so good at that. Tyrann to the Saints, effectively, RC, replacing Malcolm Jenkins. Is this an upgrade for New Orleans, going from Malcolm Jenkins to Tyrann in that spot?
I think it's an upgrade because Tyrann's still younger, a little closer to his prime than Malcolm was last year. I also think the versatility is similar, but Tyrann can do even more than what Malcolm did, and that's saying a lot. What Malcolm could do in like the sub packages and dime and different things like that. I also think it's going to be very unique to have Tyrann and Chauncey Garner-Johnson. Right? How will Dennis Allen manipulate those two pieces? Because Tyrann is a guy that plays nickel, is a guy that plays dime. Do they go 6 DBs, add another one? Now you have Marcus May. And so there's going to be a lot of things that you can do schematically now that you have Tyrann Mathieu, who can play inside the slot. He can give you some outside corner reps if you want to go man against tight ends and running backs. Also, middle of the field safety, great in the drop and lurk area. So you can do so much with him. And I think this is actually going to allow Chauncey to elevate his game, which is already top-notch, top 5 slot corner in the league, to where his trash talk is, which is number 1 overall.
I love him so much. I hate that he went to Florida, but I love that he's on my team now. We all have this idea of Tyrann Mathieu from 2011, but that's been 11 years.
Yep.
How much tread has he lost off the tire? Meaning, how different of a player is Tyrann Mathieu today than, say, 2015 Tyrann Mathieu?
I think he's different. He's a little different from Tyrann 3 years ago too, but still very good. My best years in the league were year 9 through 11. Like, it's the best I ever was. I wasn't necessarily as fast or as strong as I'd ever been, but I was smarter, right? And I could understand, I could anticipate, I knew how to pace myself, I knew all those things. And I think that's where Tyrann is. And so you're going to be able to get 2 or 3 right now of his best years from him. And it may not look as explosive, it may not be as jaw-dropping, but I think it could still be as effective while making others around him better than he ever has. And I think we saw that effect in Kansas City as well. And so there's some tread left on the tires. But, I'd be lying if I said it won't be a slight drop-off athletically because, time comes for us all.
He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Make sure you give him a follow. Tyrann Mathieu, it's official. He's now a member of the New Orleans Saints. All right, RC, last one on Tyrann. Whenever you look at that secondary now, and the pieces, you just described them all, where are they in the NFC? Where is the Saints defense, in particular that secondary in the NFC?
The secondary is really good. I believe Marcus May is a really good, underrated player. Obviously, what Marshawn Lattimore could do on the outside, Chauncey Garner, Poston, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, is a guy who, before going back to Stanford for the last year and sitting out, was a projected first rounder. And you saw some of the talent that he possessed last year as well. And so I think when you look at this team, they're in a spot to be really good, to be really sound, be physical, be able to match up with anybody with 5 DBs on the field, and that's where today's game is.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.